welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. It is time for No Not the Lost. Very nearly pressed spacebar a second too early there. We've got that hair again. Ugh. Guppy's head. Oh, and Magic Mush. Good start. YT8V, YouTube 8 Vine Sauce. CPTM is the seed if you want to play along. And our first item, this here is god awful. And our first item is undisclosed at this moment. Unicorn Stump. I prefer Guppy's head because I just like cats better when they're only a severed head. I don't know, it's pretty weird, but that's just my preferred style of cat. Some people like the cats that are naked, some people like furry cats. This isn't what I intended to talk about, but have you seen the argument that's brewing on Twitter about whether or not the new Cats live action movie is furry or not? Because I have, and I found it very funny. We pass another tinted rock. No, we passed a key. I will use a bomb on a key. It's not so much a hairstyle as it is a mustache misplaced. It's totally furry, no fur. Oh god, I wasn't looking. That was close. Although we've got the layout of this room that I'm not entirely sure how to avoid damage. So, just guarantee that, I guess. Oh, that worked. Well then, Magpie, I don't wish to, like, be drawn into the discussion because I just found it funny people arguing about it. But what I will say is the most sensible explanation I saw is that it isn't because a furry is an animal with human properties and the Cats movie is humans with animal properties. Ooh. Okay. But people getting exceptionally angry over the argument is wonderful because it's inconsequential anger, so you can make fun of it because it's not like political anger or, you know, that kind of stuff. See new Prime Minister, for instance. So it's harmless to point and laugh at it because it's about something inane. So I'd encourage you to go look it up. I don't know quite how you would. Oh, I guess like the mentions of the movie's Twitter account or just like tweets about the trailer. Because everybody was talking about the trailer as is just because people were like, Jesus Christ, that looks weird. And then it kind of degraded into that to people making fun of furries, and then it was like, well, the furries defending themselves being like, that ain't furry. And then people saying, well, yeah, it is. Or people on both sides. We have not had our item room. It's really nice out where you live. Have him bombed. Oh, we did have our item room, it's right bloody there. It does kind of look like antennae. Yeah, it makes us look like Mantis. It's getting a bit cooler here, but that's because I've got the window open like full swing and the office happens to face the direction of wind's blowing today, so it's very nice now, but it's also probably going to be a lot of background noise until the evening draws on a little bit. And again, to cut it off at the head ideally, yes, the temperatures we're dealing with here are warm by British standards, but it's probably like colder than normal for some of you. But the point is, the climate you're brought up in acclimates you to it. We are used to it being very cold, especially in Scotland, so 27 degrees C might not seem like a lot, but it genuinely affects our ability to function. On my day off, I did do some stuff that we'll talk about, but I just, like, in the middle of the afternoon, my allergies were terrible, the heat was unbearable because it was like the midday heat, and I couldn't function, so I laid down for a little while, closed my eyes, I opened them again, and it was an hour later. And Sora was lying next to me, making it even warmer, which was annoying, but, you know. Yes, I'm trying to avoid the Twitch cliche of an argument breaking out over whose heat is hotter. Because it devolves into, well, I live on the surface of the sun and it was 120 degrees Celsius here today and you don't hear me whining about it. Otherwise known as Texas. All heat sucks. Oh, we're getting a lot of results from gold chests. A little heat is okay. A little in moderation, as they say. Okay, we've got our bomb back, got another spirit heart. We're going to need to start getting other stat increases beyond speed for this to continue being a good run. Hopefully that'll come in time. Damn, I had a question to ask chat before I blather on about nerd shit, and I can't remember what it was. Let's see. It wasn't the furry thing, it was something else. What else happened on Monday that I hadn't or been able to discuss because I wasn't streaming? How did that miss us? Nope, it's not coming to me. I'm drawing a blank. See, that's the heat. That's the heat kicking in right there. My Tyrannofex is not called Tyrone. Also, that's going to be 2 days until that battle report's live. Speaking of which, I'm still waiting on orders of contrast paint arriving, which is limiting my options for what to do next, so I decided I'd use that as an excuse to finally put together my Storm Surge, which is an exceptionally large Tau mech. He is a large lad with lots and lots of guns. He looks a bit like well, he doesn't have the stupid skull face, but he looks a bit like one of the Mech Warrior mechs that I can't remember the name of. I didn't put it together fully though, because I'm going to do like the limbs and big gun separately just so it looks a bit neater, but I'm going to do like the main body, legs, base on camera, and do the extremities off camera just to test stuff. And like I mentioned on Twitter before going live today, I haven't seen a lot of it, but I have seen like a certain level of snootiness regarding contrast paint. Mostly from people who either actually have talent or believe that they have talent when it comes to using traditional paints. I believe Vice President, like very specifically, just to make it clear that I'm not just pulling like things that didn't happen at my ass, I saw a discussion about painting Imperial Knights on, it was the 40k subreddit, not the actual contrast paint subreddit, because obviously the contrast paint subreddit is people interested in at least giving contrast a chance. But someone was mentioning painting a knight in contrast paint, and there was just a comment from someone who was like, I can't remember the words verbatim, unfortunately, but it was something along the lines of using contrast paint on an Imperial Knight. I don't think they said the word disgrace, but it was a word like disgrace. Basically saying that you shouldn't use contrast paint on an expensive model. No, they didn't say heresy, although that would have been very on brand. Okay. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Not going to take the nail, don't need the nail. I guess we'll take blub blub. Yeah, sure, why not? Like, that's the thing. Contrast paints are like a... They're a help if you just want to create an army really quickly, regardless of your skill level, but if you have no painting skill, or very little, it's just a way to make your models look pretty nice, and then have them on the table painted rather than grey. Someone who's actually good at painting is going to use them maybe here and there, again, especially if they're just producing a horde army of like orc boys or Tyranid grunts, you know, something where there's certain ways you can play the army so you just drown the table in them. You don't want to spend 2 hours on each miniature, and contrast paint is primarily for that. So yeah, it's not really meant for bigger, expensive models, but at the same time, the finish contrast paints give is either the same or slightly better than my normal painting standards, so I don't see any reason not to use it on a larger model, especially one where it doesn't have a bunch of super flat straight edges. Like, Tau mechs are very angular, and the broadside turned out fine, or broadsides rather. So my theory is the Storm Surge should also turn out pretty fine. But I am curious if there's going to be a little bit of snooty looking down upon using contrast on a miniature like that. I've had a little bit of that on the secondary channel. Not specifically because of my miniatures being painted in contrast, just contrast in general having this, well, you're taking a shortcut type angle. And it is a shortcut. That's the part of the point of why it exists. It's not a bad shortcut. It's a very ingenious painting method. I'm very impressed. They've been working on it for a long time. I can actually grab that key. Also, I don't know why we got that black heart, but I'll take it. Thank you, Regent, for 21 months with a tier 1 sub. Hello to you too. I hope you're doing well. Like an expert painter, like someone who, say, does like painting miniatures commissions. Tau Storm Surge, excluding the price of the miniature. Well, sorry, not price. The time to paint it is the thing I'm talking about. Again, it's the heat. It would take them days, most likely. With contrast, it's still going to take me hours, probably, just because of drying time. But if you ignore drying time, it's going to take me about an hour of actual painting. Whoops. True painters grind their own pigments into paint. There might actually be people with that kind of attitude, which is a little weird. I didn't expect... I mean, I guess I should stop being surprised about the internet, specifically also Americans turning everything into a competition, but paint snootiness I was not expecting. As like any kind of thing I'd have to deal with on the secondary channel for nerd stuff. It's a good item, but we don't have enough money. Like when you were painting Mortarion, Evil Vice President, that took you a while as well, right? I used traditional paint for that and it took me a day. But that was like a day off from start to finish. Every hobby has elitist. Especially gaming. That's for sure. But yeah, I understand like Warhammer 40k having elitists. I just didn't expect it to have them in the painting realm. In the army realm, like, oh, you're not doing it right, that kind of thing. I expect that.
Friends till the end.
Why am I carrying this tarot card around with me? Good question. It's to use it on Krampus, in case you were curious. Oh, right. They split into smaller bombs. Forgot that. I guess we'll just go, because I didn't get enough money for boss key. So the Storm Surge might turn out uglier, but I've had that Storm Surge sitting since it first released, which I'm pretty sure was 2015, but I might be misremembering. Someone can fact check that if they want. And I really, really like the model. The reason I never opened it, assembled it, or even tried painting it is because I was worried about doing a terrible job on a model I really like. That's why Mortarion took me so long to paint as well. And I don't know if it's the contrast paint is giving me like the courage to paint tough looking stuff. It's more just that even if you do a slightly bad job, it does so much of the work for you that it's going to turn out looking not terrible. Like that Storm Surge, if I didn't have contrast paints as a thing, would still be sitting on my shelf in its box. Although, to be fair, if my other contrast paints had arrived, I'd still be doing simpler things. It's just I was looking at my shelf of unassembled miniatures, like just the boxes sitting waiting. And I'm like, that Storm Surge is sat there for, well, not sat here, because I've only been in this house 2 years, but it's been sitting on my various Warhammer 40k shelves since it released. And I've never opened it, because it's a really nice looking model and I'm worried about messing it up. So contrast paints are good just based on the fact that it's given me the inspiration, courage or whatever to actually attempt to finish it. And again, the broadside turned out fine, so it's the same application, just slightly bigger. So I feel like it should be okay. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. I think that's going to be my to-do list tomorrow, pending any super allergies. Hello, Mad Lagger. So anyway, I assembled that today. The assembly took ages. Honestly, the assembly probably took me longer than it's going to take to paint it, minus just not counting drying time. Ooh, hello. Rage is very good. Not having a map, however, is not. That's okay. True painters create their own sun so they can get the right light exposure for their self-ground pigments. Yes, it does come across like that. I have made it sub-assemblies. Yeah, I've got the legs attached to the main body on the base, and that's what I'm going to paint on camera. But the Storm Surge doesn't exactly have arms. It has collections of missiles, but the things that should be his arms I'm going to paint separately off camera prior, and the huge cannon on his shoulder I'm going to do like prior, and then assemble it all once the body's done. Usually I would just fully assemble a miniature because I should have taken it. Well, I might be able to trade it away. Red heart, red heart, red heart. Shit. Because I think that means it's going to be Spirit Hearts. No? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that changed in Rebirth, didn't it? So usually I would fully assemble it, but I didn't want to do the whole thing on camera because it's huge. And it is a model where I want to kind of test the arms first and then just kind of put it together. Just so I can get into the nook and crannies of the armor. So that's what I'll probably be doing tomorrow. I might not do like the base tomorrow. What I might do is tomorrow I'll do the extremities and the cannon, see how they turn out, and then the day after record doing the actual body. We'll see. I don't know. In terms of my day off, as I said, my allergies were terrible and the weather was too warm to do much, so after I got in from doing food shopping, pretty much crashed for a little while. I watched, what's the full title? Hang on. Justice League Dark, it's just called. Ooh, that's a bad bill. And it was okay. I actually think the Teen Titans one I watched last week was better. The Judas Contract. But it was fine. It's Batman teaming up with the Dark Justice League, which is like the members of Justice... Well, they're not even members in it, but... honorary members of Justice League that deal with magic-related shenanigans. So Constantine, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and Jason Blood. Jason Dark? What's his name? The one who has Etrigan the Demon trapped inside him. I said Etrigan. Him and his bloody rhyming. He teams up with Batman in the worst comic I've had from that monthly Batman thing I collect, which was called... Hang on, what was it called? Golden Dawn. Absolutely awful. Yeah, it was fine in the movie. Also, the movies share chronologically... Is that the word? Chronologically? Yeah, I just said it weird. That is the word. So in the DC movie cinematic universe, like, it wasn't 100% clear, so this is a spoiler for the record, if anyone cares. But, like, Swamp Thing gets murdered in it. Is he actually just dead in the DC movies now? Because he's awesome. Because I don't think he's seen after apparently dying. Although he does die with like 5 minutes of movie left, but still. Red Sun is the one where Superman is a communist, yes, brought up in Russia. Stars. Judgment. I will let you have my monies. Hello, Frog Lawyer. You find a rhyming demon to be rather amusing. I always suspected you were weird. Now I know. Oh right, the small bombs. Oof, every time I forget that that happens. Okay, apparently no one else has seen this movie, so they can't confirm or deny to me whether or not I need to be sad about Swamp Thing being dead forever. That's very oh, they explode into little bombs. It's very disappointing. How do you kill Swamp Thing? He separates the like zombie corpse of, what's his name? Adam? Alec? Whatever his name is, from like the green, and kills that. Like you see his body just falling away and then the Swamp Thing body evaporating. So he seems pretty dead. The movie does also feature a sequence that maybe was a reference to Dogma, in which Batman has to fight a shit demon, which is interesting. Dogma is a very good movie, incidentally, if anyone hasn't seen it. Yes, small bombs, I remember. Did I remember at the time? No. No, I don't think he was proving that he was no longer human. He mentioned that, like, he is Swamp Thing but wishes he was human. And then he pulls out the human part and the plant part dies, and the human part is already dead. So he seemed pretty dead. You would have thought the movie would have confirmed he was alive by, like, showing him, no? And the easiest way to prove one way or the other is whether or not he's featured in any of the movies since. I don't think he has. Although I'm not sure, like, what order they come out in, because, well, I know the Judas Contract came out after that because it features, the only feature it has, in fact, is preview of next DC movie, the Judas Contract. So that must be one of the newer ones. He hasn't been in anything since it. Well, he's probably dead then. I mean, the movies aren't shy about killing folk off, which is kind of nice. They just have their own timeline, so they're being like whatever with it. A bottle of pills I do not want. This is the last floor, yeah, with an item room. I will look in here, however. We have unlimited keys, so if this was to lock, and no, of course it's not going to lock again. Thank you, Yuki. Welcome back, and thank you for subscribing with a tier 1 sub for 2 years. That is a long time. We were talking about the animated DC movies, yeah. I was about to move on, though, because I could see people dying of boredom. Although, to be fair, what I was going to move on to is what I was watching as well on my day off, which, well, and a little bit today, honestly, while I was assembling the Storm Surge. I was watching the first part of the first season of the 1966 Batman run with Adam West and Burt Ward. And it was wonderful. I've only like watched the first 6 episodes or so, but it is just wonderful. I've also been reading up on the wiki just about it as well, because it was way before my time, but I remember seeing reruns, and reruns of it are still running to this day, by the way. But I thought it had been on TV like first time running for ages, because there's 3 seasons, and in the 3 seasons there's a total of 120 episodes. So I thought, oh, that must have been going for like 10 years. It was running for just 1966 to 1968. In 2 years they cranked out 120 episodes, twice weekly, and then the 3rd season was once weekly. Because just back then they just churned out stuff if it was popular, and prior to season 3 it was popular. So they just pushed out content. Ooh. Yeah, it was a lot of Batman. So I've been learning some things about it as well, because I haven't seen it since I was a kid as well. But it is worth noting, of the recurring cast, the only one left alive is Burt Ward now. Of the villains that guest starred, the only one alive is the person who played Riddler in season 2 and one of the people who played Catwoman. I also didn't realise that Adam West didn't die of old age, because he was hella old, rather, when he died. but I didn't realise he had leukemia. So he was still taken before his time, which is very depressing because Adam West is wonderful. I'll go back to talking about the show in a minute, but I went deep down the wiki rabbit hole about this kind of stuff. I already knew that, like, after the Batman TV series of the 60s, like, Adam West was basically typecast as a camp actor because of the role. So he found it hard to get work, and it was guest starring on that episode of the Batman animated show that I talked about where he guest stars. He guest stars as the Grey Spectre, was it, or something like that? The Grey Ghost, who is like animated Batman's hero. Mic up his head. Time for a change. And it was getting back into that actually got his name out there again to get more legitimate work. Mostly connected to Batman at first, but then he actually started getting other work, and of course he became a recurring character playing himself on Family Guy, and he was very funny on Family Guy. Granted, they went a little bit too heavy on just make Adam West be weird, but he like played up to it. He just went full nuts for the role, and it was wonderful. It was the Grey Ghost. Also, apparently, because the wiki quotes Adam West's biography, which I'm actually kind of tempted to go read because it sounds interesting. Oh, should not have taken that. The reason he got the role of Batman in the television series is he was the only one who read the lines with a straight face. Like, he could do deadpan. Well, not even deadpan, but he could read the stupid lines and not laugh. And the thing that made him want the role was he was reading... I can't remember the exact scene now. He mentioned a specific scene. Damn, someone's gonna have to go check the wiki for me. But also what I didn't realise from when I was watching it as a kid, because it aired in the 60s, so I thought the campiness of it was just the way things were. I didn't realise it was deliberately a comedy. Now watching it as an adult, I'm like, well, of course it is. Listen to the ridiculous things they're saying as if it's normal. But when I was a kid, I didn't realise it was meant to be cheesy. You know, Batman having a spray or a pill for absolutely everything, and like every computer being labelled with a hand-printed note and that kind of thing. Like the really on-the-nose morality issues. Or like Dick saying something like, I don't want to study French, or I don't want to learn music, and then Batman being all fatherly saying, no, you must, this is part of the way that we'll reach world peace if we all learn to speak each other's language, or we communicate through the love of music. He's like, gee whiz, Batman, you're right, I'll study more. It's just, it's so cheesy, it's glorious. Yes, bat shark repellent. That was in the movie though, that wasn't in the TV show. I think. No, wait, no, it's the some days you can't get rid of a bomb line that's in the movie. My friend and I, who is also a big fan of the camp Batman, when we were younger, we used to say that to each other all the time. Just some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Hell, I'm pretty sure I've said it in, like, Let's Plays. Almost certainly. Where it's been fitting, of course. Because he wants to get rid of a bomb, but everywhere he tries to throw it, there's like a kid or like a mother with her newborn, and he just keeps on getting more and more flustered, and just eventually just says, exasperated, some days you can't get rid of a bomb. I also didn't realise, I'm going to save this for the cathedral, that the reason Cesar Romero, who played the Joker in the television series, was caked in so much makeup, like a ridiculous amount of the clown makeup, is because he refused to shave off his mustache for the role. So they had to just pile on the makeup to try and hide it as best they could. For close-ups you can still tell he's got a mustache. But the reason for that is he would refuse to shave. And the Joker doesn't have a mustache. Which I thought was also quite fun. I will pretend to be your clown prince of crime, but I shall not shave my moderately thin mustache. Also, as far as storylines, the very first episode of the Batman television series is the Riddler tricking Batman into a situation where he sues him for grievous bodily assault. Which is apparently based on an old comic from the 60s as well. Let's try the second secret room. Actually, if my bombs get sucked away, that may not happen. Also, the Adam West TV show, I think, is responsible for Batgirl. Because I mentioned late in the season, or in season 3, that's when she debuts, ratings were falling. So they thought, oh, let's introduce a character, we'll introduce Batgirl, we'll make it Commissioner Gordon's daughter. And they asked the people doing the comics at the time to put her in it. So she debuted in 1960, whatever. And that kind of had got people interested in her. And then when she was in the television show, that kind of helped a little bit, but eventually season 3's viewership just dropped so low that ABC, I think it was, who had it, they sold it to somebody and they were going to continue with it, but the reason they never did is because there was an accident and a fire, or maybe they were deliberately burned because they were getting rid of it, but most of the sets were burned and they didn't want to pay the price to rebuild them, so that's why there was never a season 4. Which is a shame, I guess. I can't tell if I'm the only one that finds this interesting or not. We're in a little spot of bother HP wise. You know what, while we've got health. I was going to use it for Isaac, but things were looking a bit dicey. Well, things still are looking a bit dicey. Oh, it spawned on me. Come on now. With the Book of Belial, we're still doing a crap ton of damage, if nothing else. Yeah, might fail this one on the Cathedral. It's not worth taking. Oh, hello again, Sora. Yes, I saw the way to Hush was open. I'd rather not die to Hush. I'm glad you find it interesting. Unfortunately, I think I've expended all my current facts that I've learned about it. I'm kind of surprised I'm enjoying watching it as much as I am as an adult. But I think part of that is just because Adam West is so endearing, and the fact he can say all this crap he says with a straight face, even though it's just... It's not nonsensical, like it does make sense, it's just... It doesn't fit the situation at all. I don't know why I got that heart, but I'm grateful for it. I kind of need to focus now, that might be a bit too late. What extra life do we have? Oh, Guppy's collar, so it's not a guarantee. Shouldn't have picked up those coins. Oh. Where did it all go wrong? Lack of HP generation. That's basically it. And maybe I was blathering a bit too much without focusing. Started with Magic Munch, and as a result just kind of played lackadaisically. Wasn't really paying attention for a start. I couldn't tell you what deals with the deals with the devil. Also the heat. Have I mentioned the heat? I know I got Krampus in one of them, and he dropped Lump of Coal. I probably got Guppy's collar in a deal with the devil. What other deals with the devil did I definitely was in them, I just don't remember what I took. I was just... I'm going to stay on half a heart. I took something. Yeah, it is all Batman's fault. Oh, that's another thing. In Justice League Dark, I hate how like indignant Batman is about anything related to magic. He just keeps on literally grumbling to himself. It's wonderful. It's like just an angry old man. When the spectres of death are hovering over someone about to die, they point out that they dislike Batman because he saves so many people, and he just stares at them and says boo, and they run away. Oh, and like we discussed before, the person who voices Constantine is the same person who played him in Arrow, which is neat, and played him in the Constantine TV show that got cancelled. I do have a question. Is he also the person who voices the... Is his name Manchester Jack? Like the villain from England in one of those Superman films I watched? Because it sounds like him. I'm just curious if it's the same guy. Yeah, Batman knows about aliens and gods, but he draws the line at magic stuff. He just doesn't like it. That's all. No to the magic. He's got no time for it. Every time he gets involved with magic, he has to end up throwing exploding batarangs at shit demons. Basically just his Clayface strategy, but smellier. Manchester Black, Manchester Jack. It was something like that. I'm just curious if it's the same guy who voiced Constantine. I have seen the Constantine movie where Keanu Reeves played him, yes. I remember only watching it once, but not disliking it. I didn't play the game tie-in. Hello, Fallen. When will the next miniatures video be? A 40k battle report will be up in 2 days from now. I haven't recorded anything else because I need to finish some models before I can do either. Well, no, that's not true. I think I can do another 40k one without needing to paint anything. But now that I'm going to be doing the Storm Surge, I think I'd like to finish it and then include it. But the next Batman one's having to wait because I want to include some miniatures I haven't painted yet, and the reason I haven't painted them yet is because I need some contrast paints that haven't arrived. Which is very annoying. But it's not on the places I've ordered from, it's just on supply not meeting demand by a quite considerably large margin. Contrast paints are very hot right now. I'm imagining like experienced painters are going to lose interest and go back to traditional methods, but for people like me, we want all the contrast paint. Different actor? Okay. They sound similar. Hello, Robin. You're waiting for the white and black paints? I'm waiting for Telesar Blue. That's the big one I need to be able to do the next Batman Battle Report. And I'm waiting on... what's it called? It's called like Glyph something orange. I don't want to say what I need that one for because it's a little bit of a surprise. Secrets and lies. Out of second form, please. Thank you. I don't think I've ever seen his beam hit the lower left corner. No thank you, Delirium. Why is it always secrets and lies? Yeah, it's Gryph-hound Orange. I do want to talk a little bit about Warcry, that new, like, bite-sized kitchen top game they're doing for Warhammer Age of Sigmar stuff, but I want to wait till Valinar's in the call because it's kind of fitting for when we're playing Total War. Same universe. Even if my Krur Tomb Kings have been eradicated and turned into, I don't know, a bog standard skeleton necromancer team. I still don't think we're going to finish the run alive, by the way. We did get some good items there, but it's just we didn't get any more survivability, and that's the problem. Well. Happy to be wrong in this instance. We'll see though. Tomb Kings are gone entirely. Are they though? Are they? You can bring them back. They brought back halflings, not halflings, what are they called? Turdlings? You can bring back anybody if there's enough demand for it. You could bring them back just in the context of Warcry. Squats, that's the one. They brought, yeah, some low dudes. I have no idea which way to go. Missing poster's no good to me. That heart is if I get hit though. Although don't we have Curse of the teleport me around just specifically to piss me off? Because if so, getting back to that heart isn't a guarantee. It's quite a long name, but it's a very potent curse. Ooh, there's two of them. What keeps giving me that heart? Like the first time I go down to have a heart, it seems to pay it with a heart. Thank goodness you died there. I'll just stay over here. There's a dead end. God damn it. I know they have some neat units. I've got them in Total Warhammer. Robot Sphinxes, bitches. Oh. 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 Continuing to oh. Well, if teleport is on, don't teleport me. What the? That was weird. That heart didn't want to get inside me. Heart? More like fart. Ooh, I don't like when enemies spawn on you. Even if they are scythes, that's unforgivable. It doesn't help us, unfortunately. Ooh, Lust, she's got cooties. That helps. Although, well, we still can't get into half a heart, though. I was wondering why we weren't getting any chests, but... Then I looked at what my luck's at, and was like, yeah, that sounds about right. We should have a fire rate enough that this isn't a problem. Quick run! Asterisk by my standards. Although I guess if it ends in a death, of course it's a quick run, but hey, we made it through the game. I'm trying to keep the hero font if we find Blue Baby. Well, if I pick that up, I might as well pick it up, I suppose, but I need that red heart. Yeah, snakes and scorpions. Robot sphinxes, though. That's the main one. So let's spawn those, huh? Should have killed Gluttony last, but... Oh, actually, can we get 9 lives from him? Oh, if we can, we didn't. What is this floor layout? Big rooms that go nowhere. I'm gonna say that. What else is there? Oh, there's another one somewhere. There he is. I'm now anecdoteless, so whatever way this run ends, I just want it to happen soon. If you could give me money equals power, we'd be pretty damn strong. Jesus tap dancing Christ. I went round in a huge circle of dead ends. How fitting that this room is filled with wrath. It's too hot for this shit. And Mr. Mega with the synergies we have is actually pretty good. To briefly go back to talking about good things. high up. Oh, we found the boss. I don't know what I got hit by, but we found the boss. Oh, probably one of their mines started on the level. No. Well, that's no good to me. Hey, quite a bit of his health came off because we had the tick. I don't think the small bombs do the Mr. Mega damage, unfortunately. But we are actually going to win, so I was wrong. We look horrific, incidentally. For those watching after the fact on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again soon for another run. Until then, ta-ta for now.